So welcome. This is Tyler Hoff with the Vital Life Foundation, and this is a dear friend of mine, Dan Millstein. And this is actually the first video in a series of interviews that I'm starting with my mentors and people that I look up to, people that I've learned from in my life. And thank you so much for doing this, Dan.
Please.
We're really just gonna have a conversation with the camera going. It's nothing different than when I come over here. Dan has a beautiful Zen garden, and we're here in Southern California, and he's taught yoga in prisons for over 18 years, and then one day the prison system said, "Sorry, you're causing too much peace in the prisons. We can't have you coming in here anymore." And then one day, something happened. He received a really amazing, simple meditation, and it's called the 1 Minute Miracle. You've probably already seen a video that we've done or that I've done, and if you haven't, there'll be a link on this post to that video so you can experience it for yourself. So in all the years that you taught yoga and prisons and meditation, and you got to work with people that have been through the darkest, deepest experiences, what would you say was like the biggest lesson or the biggest insight that you received, that you live with every day on a daily basis, having worked with them and experienced their lives with them? What's a lesson or something that you have with you that you keep every day?
It's a little broad of a question, considering. But one lesson? 108 lessons? A million lessons? I guess the best lesson, the one that's the most freeing for me, is forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
That everybody deserves it. Everybody. And boy, I tell you, that's a hard concept to wrap your brain around, because there's some bad, I'm not going to do the air quotes thing, but there's some weird stuff out there that forgiveness doesn't seem anywhere near possible. But it's all that there is. The word forgiveness, forgiven, it indicates to me that every time there's some kind of conflict or something weird going on, it's an opportunity for forgiving ourselves. And as we give ourselves to that opportunity, there's no longer any judgment, because we understand it from the other person's point of view. Boom, forgiveness. If we change the meaning of our conflict, the conflict means that I'm a bad person, or anything that we make up in our heads about some conflict has a meaning for us. And if it carries a crappy meaning, we probably ought to change the meaning.
Yeah.
Because there's a good meaning there somewhere. It's just
right. Because somebody that ends up in prison, I mean, in our society, they're automatically going to be thinking, "Oh my, condemnation. I'm so this, that. I'm so bad. I'm this." So all those thoughts have an effect.
Of course, they would carry it out. If I walk around saying I'm a piece of crap, that's the way I'm going to act.
Right.
And if everybody in the whole system tells me I'm a piece of crap, and people that make big money, and psychiatrists and guards with kids and families and stuff like that, and they all tell me I'm a piece of crap, then I must be. So that's the way I have to act. So the system is upside down. Instead of teaching love, we're punishing people. And that's just duh. It's just, I have words that I sometimes use in prison. Idiots. just,
Right.
it's so foolish.
So, forgiveness is really like the theme that you were able to carry into the prisons and allow these prisoners to experience. Whether they were in there for something they did or didn't do, they had these negative thoughts about themselves, and so you were able to go in there with some light, with some love, and to bring forgiveness into their life. And
No,
you,
I was just stupid. I just didn't see it.
mm-hmm.
And when you don't see it, then that translates to the person you're not seeing it in. That translates to them that you're forgiving them, that you're not concerned at all with what they've done or who they are or what their past is. You're only concerned with being with them in that moment.
Right.
So if I'm dumb enough to do that, and it works, then I'm going to do that. And I don't mind at all.
Wow.
It's
Wow.
not hard. I mean, it wasn't
So
work.
It's not even that you sat there and told them you need to forgive. It was that you
no.
were in their presence and they were in your presence, and you had such presence with them of forgiveness that you didn't even see that there was anything to forgive. And
The first principle of attitudinal healing, which I used to teach in the prisons and had groups about, many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of attitudinal healing groups sitting around in a circle talking to prisoners. The first principle of attitudinal healing is that the essence of our being is love. So if that's our essence, if that's, in other words, if that's what breathes us, something is breathing us, some power, some force that we can't, we're not plugged into the wall anywhere. We can't see it, nobody knows where it is. But it's breathing us and it loves us unconditionally. So that's our essence. And that unconditional love, being our essence, is a good starting place for rebuilding whoever I want to be. It's like our favorite mantra, I am light, I am light, I am light, I am light. Geez, I mean, it's not only is it a wonderful freeing mantra, but for people who are having trouble with their weight, people who are having trouble with depression, people who are, just I am light, I am light, I am light. Your brain starts to interpret that in so many hundreds and hundreds of ways that everything that you touch and see becomes light. You can see beyond. Nothing sticks in the light. If I was to drop something in the air right now and I said levitate, it wouldn't. It would fall.
Right.
But there's plenty of light here. We're sitting in the light so beautiful, as you can see. Getting skin cancer. We'll cut that negative down.
So there's a lot of people that are searching for, like self-help, self-development, personal growth, and they're going to courses and trainings and spending thousands of dollars, and we have something here that's free, that's so simple, it takes 1 minute a day.
Well, people don't value things that are free, my darling. They don't. You give somebody something for free and they throw it away. You charge somebody $1 million for something,
They're going to have more value on
that's
that.
That's been the calling card of Maharishi, teaching transcendental meditation for the last 40 years in this country, teaching millions and millions of people how to sit and meditate and get quiet. Just magnificent. And he charges, and he always charged. Well, he didn't charge. He didn't have any pockets. He never had. Somebody asked him once, "How much money do you have?" And he said, "I have all the money in the world. It's all in the banks. All I have to do is ask for it. So I have all the money in the world. I'm not separate from that money."
Right.
And Maharishi used to charge a lot of money for his TM practice and overview and all of that training that they did. And they still charge quite a bit for it. I don't know what it is these days, but it's well worth it. Because you pay for it. And you're going to value it. So you're going to meditate at least until you forget about the 500 or 1,000 or whatever money it costs you.
Yeah.
When you forget about that, then you'll probably quit meditating. we shall forget how good it is.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. We forget.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly we forget. Every day. I rake the garden, I remember. I sit and meditate, I remember. I hit the gong, I remember.
Mm.
I look at the sky, I remember. The clouds, I remember having thoughts. Oh yeah, there's a cloud.
Mm.
Oh yeah, I had another thought, there's another cloud. That's about what my mind looks like most of the time. It's just clear. If I want to put something in it, I'll put it in it. But in the meantime, I don't need to use it up. I don't need to argue with myself. I have 108 sub-personalities, and they all can argue with each other, and we can stay up nights, but maintain our skyness.
So how does somebody clear their mind? Let's say they have 2 jobs and 3 kids, and
Sure.
they're just trying to make ends meet, and they've got all these past traumas that they're dealing with. What could be something that they could do, a practical thing that they could start doing to just start clearing their mind so that they can be aware of the thoughts that are going on?
Yeah, the first thing to do is change who you are. If you don't change who you are, you're not going to be able to change your mind, because it's your mind. It's been doing the same thing all the time with the same person. So if you don't change who you are, if you don't decide to be that being of light, that being of beauty, that being of joy and peace, if you don't decide to be that, your mind's still going to be blah, blah, da, 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 da.
So it's
First
making a
we
decision.
decide. First
Okay.
we decide. I am light.
I am light.
That's my first mantra.
Mm-hmm.
It means everything. We're photons and subatomic particles and all that stuff being held together by some magical force being breathed and all of that. Geez, look at this. I am light. Not only that, it expands my consciousness. It moves me into other worlds. Not foo-foo worlds, but feelings of other worlds, like Syria right now. Bad stuff going on in Syria, in the Mideast. Very bad stuff. Slaughter.
Well, that brings up another idea that, a majority of people on the planet fear death. And there's a lot of death, there's a lot of destruction and war going on. And it's predominantly true that most people are operating out of a sense of fear. Most people are, they make their decisions out of fear. And one of the biggest fears is the fear of death. Can you speak about that fear and how someone could see it in a new light?
Fear is fear. So we conquer fear. That's all. Not fear of. Some stuff is just natural.
Yeah.
Naturally, you're going to fear change.
Okay.
Okay, so death is change.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So we lose that fear of change in our lives. When things change, we just stay in that presence of light and love and peace and harmony. Stay there in your own mind, because that's who you are now. I'm a teacher of peace. I'm a teacher of peace. It says it on my wall. My tattoos are a little old, but anyway. So I'm a teacher of peace. I've decided that's who I am. That's my identity. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't give a rat's patootie if I'm not peaceful sometimes, because there's a lot of idiots out there in the world that make me nuts. What else can I do? I'm picky. I'm a fault finder. I'm a Virgo. I can't help myself. I'm a fault finder, and I'm very good at it.
That's one of the things that I've always experienced with you. Whenever I come here to see Dan, I'll share an idea with him. Oh, I got this idea for a new product, or a new website that I want to create, or a new project, and I tend to be very optimistic and look at the bright side, and I'm very thankful to have somebody like Dan, because like he said, he's able to see, like he says, both sides of the stick, and that's something he's empowered me with. Can you talk about the power or the importance of being able to see any topic in your life and being able to objectively or look at that topic from both angles or from many angles?
No. No, I don't do that. I look at the truth.
The truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the truth is not, and I think it's a truth with a capital T. Of course, it comes out of my mouth, so my ego would say that. that I think it's like the highest truth. But truth comes spontaneously. That's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
You see these guys, all the politicians are running around now doing all their stuff. You think any one of those guys would look you in the eye and say what they're saying? They're like, whew.
Mm-hmm.
They're living in their little fart cloud, their own little fart cloud. They have no touch with reality. So everything seems plastic
Fart
and
cloud.
seems not in touch with reality. It seems, and people feel that and understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's natural. So if I'm natural and I have no fear, I can be spontaneous. I can be irreverent if I feel like like it's called for at the time. I can be anything that it's called for at the time, as long as I trust what a lot of the New Agers would call a higher power. Higher power comes through me. It's bullshit. It's not a higher power. It's you. It's who you really are without all the filters.
Mm.
Then you come through as, you know, everybody's going to believe you if you're that way, if you come from that place.
Mm. Thank you for that distinction. So it's not about looking at something from two sides. It's looking at the truth, and the truth comes from being spontaneous or being
Yeah, truth is effortless.
effortless.
Yeah, truth is effortless. It always is effortless. It's effortless to say, and it's effortless to hear, and it's effortless to learn.
Just like every time you go up on stage, or if you're going to go speak in front of an audience, you don't script out whatever you're going to say. You just go up there and it comes out in the moment, right? And that's how the truth.
It's better because I have no memory. I'd have to write down every word, and that wouldn't work very well.
Right.
What's up, Stuart? Come on.
Awesome. Well, one other thing that
This is Stuart, by the way.
our good friend Stuart,
Stuart Little.
he has most of the wisdom and knowledge that we glean from.
That's right.
So, you talk about there's teachers out there that say,
I know this is on video, but I'm going to do this anyway because it's afternoon, by the way.
So, you talk about, or some teachers talk about living in the now, and there's courses on living in the now, and there's books on living
terrible.
in the now.
Eckhart Tolle should be put away somewhere in a little room. Shut up.
So why is living in the now,
Well,
an issue? Or
there's two reasons.
Okay.
The one reason is there is no now.
There's no now.
No, it's impossible. No now. There can't be a now. Never was a now.
Okay.
It's gone now.
It's gone.
So there ain't no now.
What about
The
now?
other thing is, exactly. That's what I said. The other thing is that wise people can live in the now. Uneducated people, stupid people, should not live in the now. Please. Because they'll do anything that the little mind says to do if they're living in the now.
I see.
And that's not a good thing for most people on the planet.
Most people. So what would you suggest for those people that are, not educated and they are seeking a more peaceful life? They're seeking to understand who they really are. Instead of mentioning to them, well, live in the now, be present. What would you say? Instead of doing that,
Most of those people who are uneducated about it already already know instinctively what to do, and that's to love.
To love.
You don't have to be educated to love.
Right.
And everybody I've ever met, whether it's in, Brazil or Eastern Europe or wherever the heck I've been, everybody has the ability to love. So there's, I've met people who are 80 years old that have never gone to school ever in their lives, can't read and write, and they're 85 years old. And the most kind and loving people that there is. So actually, if there was living in the now, they sort of do that, but they're not trying to do it. Again, they're just living spontaneously, enjoying, yeah.
I'm getting it, I'm understanding.
Instead of trying to be, I gotta be present. Well, maybe you ought to think about it. It's like buying a camera. A couple of weeks ago when I looked at it, I was willing to spend whatever for it, right? Any amount. And then if I was living in the now, I would have spent that amount. Yeah? So now I waited a little while because I'm usually broke, but it doesn't matter. So I waited a little while and got the camera for like a third of the price that I was going to pay for it.
Right.
So living in the now wouldn't have served me very well.
That makes sense.
Even walking through the supermarket, boy, I like that, I like that, I like that, I like that. I'd spend $800 every time I went.
Now's all I've got. I better do it
now.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Ogmandino, one of the greatest personal development speakers and coaches, one of his greatest phrases that I like is do it now, do it now, do it now. If you get an idea or a hunch to take action on your dream or your vision or a hunch that you have, he says do it now, do it now, do it now. Yeah. And that's a little bit different of an example. It's not that he's going to go buy something because he has a thought that, oh, I want this car, I'm going to go buy it. It's more like I want to develop an organization that's going to empower children with musical instruments in South Africa or whatever.
So I can sell their records and buy that car.
Right. I guess. So what can I do right now to take one small step because a lot of people get discouraged. They have a dream and they think, oh, it's too big, I'm just not going to do anything. But if we take small little steps every day, eventually 10 years from now you've got 50,000 small steps, and you've accomplished something greater.
Yeah, you see my office. There's stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of wisdom in the office. Write it down. Write it down. That's the only way you're going to remember it.
Right.
Write it down in some funny way. In prison, that's about all they can do. Sometimes they barely have a pencil. But their ability to journal, their ability to, what we used to do in prison, we used to do gratitude journals. So every day we'd look for 4 or 5, 10 things to put on a list. So every night we'd write down something that we were grateful for that day. It might be an apple. It might be I don't know. It could be a joke that somebody told. It might have been a good crap. Oh God, I'm so relieved. Boy, that's like after meditation. You just go, oh man, that was great. Yeah. Yeah, meditation is like taking a dump. Should we write that one down? Meditation's like, well, it's that kind of relief.
Yeah, it is like that relief.
Yeah, all right.
Letting go of what is no longer serving you.
But writing down 4 or 5 things you're grateful for during the day.
You got that?
Turns you into a gratitude junkie, because then you start looking for things during the day that you're going to write down in your journal that night. So it gets into a subconscious, habitual You're grateful for everything. You're grateful
Yes.
that the guard didn't stop you when you walked out of the place with 6 oranges under your arms. You know.
Right. Awesome. Well, I feel very blessed and very thankful that I had this moment to spend with you. I've been wanting to do a video with Dan for a little while, and I'm sure we're going to do more. And if there's 2 things that you got from this video, you can always go back and watch it over and over to get any insights that you might have missed. But definitely writing down the things that you're grateful for every day.
The 1 minute miracle.
Doing the 1 minute miracle, which there will be a link on this post for you to go watch that video.
The miracle is being able to change your mind, and this is the practice that's going to allow you to change your mind in any situation, no matter what you're thinking of yourself or of the situation. If you use one of these agreements or affirmations, we call them agreements now because Don Miguel Ruiz,
The 4 agreements.
Yeah, 4 agreements. Well, we have 12, so Don Miguel, your history, pal.
We topped that.
Yeah, we topped that, baby. But in every situation throughout
And we
your
love
day,
you.
you're going to start looking at your life through these 12 agreements, and life gets more and more lovely. Yeah, more and more lovely.
Awesome.
Of course, getting old does that too. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the videos and feel free to leave your comments below. Any questions that you might have.
Say
We
bye,
love
Stuart.
you. Bye, Stuart.